But I don't know, I'm just real grateful to be here. You know, I see us growing all the time. I've been fortunate enough to be involved, you know, with service and be able to share. And I guess before I get down here and give somebody a chance, I too think, you know, if only it could have been, you know, like Michael Jackson, like anybody, the president, you know, if only I had this or that. And you know, something my sponsor shared with me was, he said, what nobler purpose in life than to alleviate human suffering, you know? I used to think about when I'm 70 years old, and I gotta look back, and if I had $1 million, so what, you know? And if I had a lot of things, so what, you know? Yeah, maybe it would be nice, it'd make me more comfortable, but you know, I can look at those people that I took to their first meeting, and I can see them clean instead of being miserable. You know, I can see a meeting that I was there when that meeting first started, whether I initiated or just happened to come in the door to help support it, and watch it grow, you know, and watch the chain effect of things that just started from nothing, you know. You can't buy that, you know, and I have a chance to do that, and that makes me special, you know, and that makes me proud to be able to serve, you know, in something that big. That's about all. Thank you.
Come on up. We're going to run over a little bit. You know, the banquet's at 6, and we may have gotten started late. You want to run over just a few minutes? Huh? Go for it. Okay. Hey, sweetie.
I'm an addict. I'm Linda. Hi, everyone. I'm real proud to be here. When I first got clean, it was told to me you had to go to the hospital, and you had to go to rehab, and you had to go to halfway house, and I was hurting so bad I was willing to do what I was, you know, told. And I remember being in the treatment center, and they got an NA meeting started in there when I was getting clean, and I was in there, and I was real proud to go around grabbing up a bunch of people there and telling them, come on in here and listen to this, listen to these people, you know. And I guess the first couple months clean, I remember leaving there and them telling me, you have to go here, you know, or you won't stay clean. And I guess for the first couple months I went out of spite, I'll show you, you know, and it makes me proud today that I don't have to tell somebody to go somewhere else to be able to get clean. That I know that you can come to a meeting of Narcotics Anonymous and find hope and recovery there. You know, when I see a new person come into a meeting with that look of desperation and know that I could go over there and hug them and share with them what's been freely given to me, you know, I get so much hope there when I see them a week later and they're still clean and they're doing it in these rooms. And I'm proud to be a part of, to participate in whether it be a group conscience meeting or just being there to set up a meeting or at a, you know, committee meeting, and not necessarily being a trusted servant, but just being proud to serve in any way I can, you know. And for me, a lot of times that is just making a cup of coffee or emptying the ashtray, just knowing that I'm participating in some way. And I'm real proud of Narcotics Anonymous today. I remember my first convention at the 30s Coast, and I was like a month clean. And a lot of the messages were mixed, you know. And this convention here, it's like blowing me away, because this is an NA convention, you know, and that makes me proud to see how we've grown, you know. I'm proud to be an addict today, you know, and I never thought I would be, you know. There was a lot of shame there, but I share with people that I'm an addict today and there's hope, in NA. And I'm real proud of it, and I love y'all. Thanks.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. The difference that NA, part of the difference that NA makes in my life, and pride still seems like a weird word for it, but maybe, think of it as a gratitude form of pride, or, something. Well, I know, like, when I do something I'm not proud of and I feel kind of down, that's very unproud. And then when I see meetings going well and people getting clean and service projects going well, then I just feel great. And it's reflected in my daily life, my life goes better. And so there is some kind of relationship, and maybe I've never really thought of it as pride in my fellowship, but I really am proud of you people. I've seen you work miracles. I've seen you pull books out of thin air, magazines out of thin air, meetings out of thin air. I mean, we're the kind of people, the ceiling could fall in and they could blow the H-bomb, and we'd probably be the ones that would mutate easily, survive, What bomb? And because we've been so bombed out. And we would start a meeting, because that's what we would pick up where we left off, because that's what the program gives us the power to do, So, Robin?
I'm an addict. My name's Robin. I'm real proud of Linda. I've watched her grow a whole lot. I guess when I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I was real afraid. I came through a couple other doors, and when I got here, I was multiply addicted. And I had a man ask me once if I was addicted to multiplication. I didn't understand that today. I heard a lot of, I was going to a lot of meetings, and I heard things like, I had a thinking problem. And I thought, well, if you have a problem, you got to get rid of it. So I had to get rid of my thoughts. And I still wasn't doing anything. There were no changes in my life. I was real miserable. And about a year clean, I started to go to a few NA meetings, a few more than I had gone to, and I got involved with some things. And they talked to me about this disease that I had, and they told me it was a disease that affected every area of my life, and that I was going to have those thoughts, because I'm an addict, and they're normal, And I didn't have to fix those thoughts anymore. I didn't have to be different anymore. And I was home. I accepted where I was and who I was. I accepted the fact that I was an addict, but I had to go through this process. And I guess a good word for it is approval, I not only had to accept the fact that I was an addict, but I had to approve of the fact, that I was an addict. And I had to approve of the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous and every single person in the room. And that's the honest to God's truth. Because when I got here, I had not been institutionalized. I had not lost the job. I had never stuck a needle in my arm. And I had to approve of the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous in my life. And I guess that's where my pride comes from. Because there's nowhere else in the world that I can have the feelings of love and hope that I have other than Narcotics Anonymous. But it was an approval stage. And I think that, maybe in society we're in that stage right now. That Narcotics Anonymous and recovering addicts can be approved of, and not put to shame. And that's where my pride comes in. And that's where my hope lies. And I'm real grateful to be here. I'm grateful that my mind and my heart allowed me to approve of Narcotics Anonymous. Thanks.
I keep having little thoughts. They don't take long, hopefully. I see 3 hands. But I feel like I'm really discovering something out of this meeting, which is a workshop. And it's coming to me every time somebody gets up here, but it's like part of the way you've helped me recover that which was lost to me in my active addiction was you started giving me things. You know, love, feelings, thoughts, conversation, your time, you know, just a lot of stuff that started filling me up again. And I know that I've been thinking a lot lately about how utterly, indispensably dependent I am on you all. And without you guys in my life, I remember quite well what it used to be like. Never feeling comfortable ever, not even for one moment, not even in a moment like orgasm. Just never felt comfortable or good or hopeful the least bit. You know, just, you know, we say we're empty. It's, one of the things I believe is our disease is a very embarrassing disease. And like I said in opening, you know, we got good reason for denial. It's a functional tool for living if you've got no positive option. And you've given me a lot of positive options. And you've also, though, you've given me a way of life and a way of looking at things and a way of believing that works, you know, whether it's at work or in my relationship or, you know, the other things. You just kind of filled me up. It spills over in various ways, but I got a lot of leaks. So I have to keep getting filled up. And I remember I'd reached the point in my using where I didn't feel good about the United States of America. I didn't feel particularly good about the planet or the solar system. Certainly I didn't feel good about Georgia or Atlanta or me. I mean, it was just reducing, you understand. And ever since then, I actually feel a little better about the United States today. I don't know whether that's a miracle or just what. You want to come up? But I'm glad we're growing because it lets something in me get bigger. It lets something in me come out and be, you know, that I was denied before. And I get it from y'all. I'm grateful.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee and I'm an addict.
Hi, Dee.
I wasn't intending to speak, but I really got motivated. And I got motivated when I looked at my little book. And I've been in the program about 4 months. But I realized tomorrow is my 1 month clean date. And a lot of gratitude came over me. And with that gratitude, I started thinking that there's a definite difference between pride and gratitude. I have a lot of gratitude for myself in this program and towards life today. But I wanted to come particularly to this workshop because just last week I got involved with a political controversy in NA. And I started getting real disgusted. And I haven't heard much negative things here at this convention, and I'm not going to start them or get into the issue. But I realized it was ruining my program. I was feeling very lonely, very distraught, like I'd lost something. And somebody told me last night, I wasn't going to come to the convention, I was just really lost. And someone told me last night, you know, you're too new. Don't get involved with these things. The first thing is your recovery. And I heard that. And I'm even more grateful today. I'm real grateful that I'm here. But I want to talk about pride. You know, Robin, I really appreciated what you said about approval because my drug of choice is a very mild drug. You know, I'm a pothead. And when I came in here, I felt a lot of people look down on me. Maybe a lot of it was in my own head. I didn't feel bad enough to be good enough. And one thing that makes me feel proud is that that's changing. That feeling is changing in me, and the more I talk about it and the more people listen to me and my problems, because I'm an addict, I couldn't stop, and I was ruining my life. And minds are opening. And the 3 things that come to mind with pride are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to try. I've never heard that anywhere else. I've never heard as many people willing to hear that and practice it. And if they're not openly practicing it, at least they want to. And I think that is what's going to make NA grow. I think someday no one is going to look at me and say, is that all you do? Because we are open-minded and we are willing to try. And for that, I'm very proud. I think NA is going to go a long way. I think we're still a baby. I know I'm still a baby. And I know I'm proud of myself, even in 4 months, because even through my relapses, I didn't leave the program. You know, I've grown a lot. People around me are proud of me. I see people I'm real proud of that have come in, have changed, have grown. And I got a long way to go. But every day I get more proud of me. And it's not quite gratitude. It's further than gratitude. Gratitude came first, and now I'm proud. And I hope to become prouder. And I'm very proud of everybody here. Thanks.
It's very interesting. Lynn? Have we got a cut?
Yeah.
Now?
Another 2 minutes.
How much acceptance do you people have?
We can go ahead and run over. I've got a 90-second tape, 9 minutes.
I'll keep it short.
Okay, we know we have a banquet coming up, but I've got, go ahead.
My name's Len, I'm an addict. Narcotics Anonymous does not need me. I need Narcotics Anonymous. And this is something I've found out more and more in the past couple of months since I've become, to me, just not just a member of Narcotics Anonymous, but a member that's in good standing in 12-step work, period. And that's more important to me than a lot of things that I thought were important. And I had to go through a lot of ego deflation or whatever. And that's me. God knows when I've tried to put ego deflation on the fellowship or whatever, it comes right back around. It's real good to know that, you know, there's a legacy here. There's going to be a legacy years from now just because of this convention. And there's a lot of pride there. And I was thinking about what Gary was talking about, some of the people that aren't around, you know. Bo was one of the ones that tolerated me on Tuesday night at NA meeting. And I lived to go to that NA meeting. I don't know whether he knows that or not, but I used to just really look forward to it because they would allow me to climb up the goddamn walls. You know, and I appreciated that. And the ones that they allowed to climb up the walls and get rid of their crap, you know, are some of the very ones that are still clean and active today in Narcotics Anonymous. And, you know, I'm glad that I don't have a lot of confusion that I used to have, or priorities. I'm glad that I can come to places where people are dedicated to Narcotics Anonymous and surrendered to the disease of addiction. I met a newcomer last night from the fellowship program, hurting like hell and scared to death, and, you know, he was just walking around, just soaking it in, you know, just soaking it in. I think there's something here that, like our book says, 2 more will be revealed. I look at my old hometown in Talladega, Alabama, and wonder what it's going to take, you know, for the little pill addicts, the potaholics, you know, that are suffering, that are freaking dying out there. I'm real proud of my neighborhood that I'm from, and I'm real proud of the fact that I'm able to do what I feel like God's will is for me. And a lot of things that I've prayed for me, I've seen people get that come to Atlanta and jump in and get all the things that I always wanted. And I'm finding out I'm getting all those things that I wanted through others. That's why I need y'all and one another in NA, you know. I need Narcotics Anonymous. I'm not, I am dispensable, you know. But as a member of Narcotics Anonymous and 12-step work, none of us are dispensable. And I've got to remember that, irregardless of where I go, who I meet, and what I do. I've got traditions to protect me And I've got traditions for y'all to be protected from me, you know. Today it was pointed out to me that some people didn't trust me. And, you know, there was a double paradox because I feel like I'd worked my ass off on one thing and some other people standing over on the side and say, well, you know, is he doing the group conscience will and da-da-da? And they'd support me and then go right around and say, hey, you know, we don't know about you, Lynn, you know. And that's what I felt a couple of months ago, and it really hurt. It hurt like hell. And I felt suicidal, and I just wanted to say to hell with it. And the very people that have felt that in the past, some of them, that have walked away from Narcotics Anonymous, and I friggin' miss them. And I'm not going to be one of those, regardless of where I go, you know. And hopefully I'll go to some virgin territory where there is no NA, you know. I'm excited about that. And I feel like, you know, I've come up to our book talks about we're at the end of the road, clean or sober, and we got to do something. And I'm kind of excited. I know where I've been, but I don't know where you know, I feel like 7.5 years clean in Atlanta has been, you know, like a training territory. And there's a lot of work to do there. But I know that I can't continue to do the things that I used to do with enthusiasm in NA that just about did me in. Because it has to be a we over and over and over again. And there's pride there. There's pride in my little neighborhood in Atlanta. Somebody could have talked about a little hole in the wall in Atlanta. You know, that's my home group, the Highland Club. But we got the best damn meetings in the South. And I'm real proud of it, you know. There's nothing on the walls. Some of the couches are dirty, and sometimes it gets flea infested, you know, and that's okay. I can't walk in somebody else's shoes, and I want y'all to walk in mine someday, but you can't, you know. You can't. There comes a time and place where nothing is going to do it. Not all the conventions in the world. And I think I'm learning something this weekend. And I'm seeing some, trying to look at more and more, especially at principles and personalities, and where I've been, you know, and seeing the newcomers I met in past conventions that have started something and went back home, you know. I vaguely remember meeting Gary in 77, yeah. I think there's 3, 4 of us here this weekend from a little convention I went to in Houston. And those people have really worked hard. And see others that have really thrown their hearts and their lives into it. And then pull back and see where their own life is, you know. But I needed everything, all my addictive whatever, with service work and club business and a whole bunch to get where I'm at today. And if I don't use my experience and share that, I'll die. Because it's really, really part of my experience. And you people allow me to do that. You know. And I got to be careful of what I hear and take inside me. Because I've got to take that responsibility. I trust you all. I trust you all. I have to. And you have to trust me. And I take pride in that. Sure, I might get hurt occasionally, you know, and I'm going to. But it don't have to be a negative power. I don't want that negative power that can come from a result of staying clean and abusing the 12 steps, you know. I want that positive power. I needed to come up here and talk about that, Bo, you know, because I won't be able to sit down in a meeting until late tonight and share, and it's going to be, you know, banquet for 3 hours.
I love you too. Come on, y'all, if you can make it brief. All 3 of you come up here now, and then we can...
now.
Huh?
All together now.
Yeah, all together.
My name is Steve and I'm an addict.
Hey, Steve.
Hi everybody, and all my thoughts are gone because fear's there. I'm always afraid of podiums and microphones, but I feel moved by listening to everybody. And it is pride that I feel in Narcotics Anonymous. And it's a deep, deep, deep love and pride that's kept me alive since the first day I came in here and felt a part of something for the first time in my life. I felt it from the first day, and I feel the same way about it today. It's what's pulled me through every single struggle I've had in recovery. It's what pulled me through the good times, the bad times, the sick times, and the happy times. Is the pride that I have in Narcotics Anonymous. And the feeling is almost indescribable. It's just something that lays in the pit of my stomach, and I know it's there. And once in a while it just surfaces, and it surfaced this weekend. And I too feel insignificant, real small, and just another piece of this whole thing. And I'm overwhelmed by it all. And the greatest thing I picked up this weekend and relearned, because I taught it before and I learned it before, is how important each and every person, each and every member of Narcotics Anonymous is. From the first day to the longest time, how important each one of us are. And it makes me feel good that I got that this weekend, because that's probably what I needed. Because I've been having trouble at home with that. And it gave me something to take back and feel comfortable again. Because we're small and we're new, and we're constantly struggling to get up there. And the struggle will be worth it. Our first group will have a birthday next month, or this month, next week, at 3 years. And that feels good. But the best thing, I think, is for me to be able to look somebody in the eye with my head up and say, yeah, I'm a clean addict, I'm a member of NA. And to have my family come to our anniversary and say, that's my boy, and thank you for giving him his life and letting us have him back. And that's a nice feeling. It's a real nice feeling, because I can tell them I love them, and they tell me they love him, this guy here, and we never had that before. So everything I've gotten, every feeling that I have, every sick thing I experience now, everything I see in my life and everything I've been given is through Narcotics Anonymous. Through the simple act of staying clean and finding recovery here and working the steps, I have everything that I have. And there's nothing more important than the way I feel. Absolutely nothing. And what I got is I got to keep giving it and keep giving it. No matter how much I don't want to, or no matter how much I don't want to do it, I just got to keep giving it. And that comes from the pride of Narcotics Anonymous, and from the love you people give me. So it is pride. It's a gleam that I see in everybody's eye here. It says, yeah, I'm a member of Narcotics Anonymous. And I love you, and I'm real grateful to be here. And I thank you for my chance. So, thank you.
My name's Greg. I'm an addict. I had looked pride up in the dictionary a while back, and there's two definitions in my dictionary. One says conceit and disdain, and the other one says self-respect. That's what I'm striving for, is self-respect. My mother was an addict. She died because she was told a half-truth, that she was powerless over substance. So she changed to a different substance. The only thing was, it led her back to that same old one again, and she died. And what I'm proud of is that in this fellowship, it doesn't matter what or how much you used. We're powerless over the disease of addiction. So anybody that needs it can come here and recover. That's what I'm proud of.
Yeah, one of the things I'm proud of, because I've been calling it lately the disease of lies, is the power the truth of Narcotics Anonymous has.
My name is Jim, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Jim.
I wasn't going to share because I like to hear the newer people, and I have over 16 years of clean time. And I'm from Detroit, that general area, and I tried to get NA going there from 69 through 78.
and had all of the more problems you can ever imagine trying to get meeting places. Churches wouldn't have us, where they had this Corktown thing where they took any kind of an alcoholic and they wouldn't have us. Salvation Army wouldn't have us. We'd have meetings on the fly, on the run. If we had meetings in the penitentiary, we couldn't call them Narcotics Anonymous, we could call them drug meetings, so we had a thing called Addicts Anonymous, all kinds of different names, moving meetings. We couldn't have a permanent place. I started my recovery in another 12-step fellowship, for which I'm deeply grateful, and brought many, many pigeons to meetings in that fellowship. I know that in spite of all the odds, the real difficulty in getting it together and watching the first semblances when we call it Narcotics Anonymous, writing to Sun Valley for literature and waiting 10 months to get one pamphlet, ordering 100 and getting 1 or 2 or 3, trying to get people around the country interested in what we were trying to do. It was would have been totally discouraging, and I would have given up if it had not been so important for my recovery. Speed was my drug of choice. It kicked my ass 6 months before I went in the other fellowship. And I knew that I was an addict. My pride would not let me tell anyone that. And it was really quite simple. Drugs are illegal. And I had a front, By day I was a businessman, by night I was a street person. I even had one other compartment in my life. On weekends I was a family man. And I tried to keep these things in order. That was the neurotic balance that I kept to keep me together. And when that started coming apart, I had to replace it with something that was sound and something that was useful. And Narcotics Anonymous as a program of recovery was the only thing that would really work, because it was all mind-altering or mood-altering chemicals. I watched so many of my friends change addictions and die. I want to make a point. The first 100 people that come when we called it Narcotics Anonymous, 22 of them died, and I stopped keeping up with it. We had people sit down at meetings and argue over what was an addict. The downer junkies were saying the upper junkies weren't junkies, and they wanted to hear that. They go out and get high. The upper junkies were saying, well, we need a program too. And I mean, people would just shoot up right at the meeting. Hey, fuck this shit. It ain't gonna work. And it would have been totally discouraging. It was at times, and I'd just say, no more. I won't have another damn thing to do with it. And I didn't until someone asked for help. When they asked for help, I just had that feeling in my gut, And I'd tell them, I'm not doing this for you. And they never knew what I was talking about. I was doing it for me, because I knew I had to work with my kind of people. I knew that my pride required it, because this is a disease of pride. And I knew that my honesty required it. I would not be able to live with myself if I turned anybody down. And hospitals would call me because they knew I would talk about it. I had all kinds of AA groups attacking people that I would bring because they would talk about addiction. And I'd just tell them, talk about it. You have to have a place to go and your life depends on it. Talk about it. And because I would talk about it, a lot of people would come to me and they would talk about the drugs. And I did that so that they would talk to me, so that I could share with them, so that I could keep it together, trying to get some sanity in an insane world. And I am particularly grateful today in Detroit. A year ago in Detroit we had 7 NA meetings. Now we've got 28. It's just fantastic. Flint has pretty good NA. Bay City has real good AA, or NA, I'm sorry. That was because AA kicked them out. Get the hell out of here. Don't talk about that. So there's another area now that's near to my heart where I was involved with a substance abuse center, 90% of which are junkies coming out of there. There were 7 meetings in there, but the fighting. Someone talked about politics. You'd have 25 people show up for a meeting, and 8 here would fight with 7 there, and when the meeting would start, the most clean time of anyone staying would be 4 days or 5 days, and so they had 8 meetings, they're down to 2, and I said, well, it's time for me to make another commitment. I don't want to. I have at least 35 active pigeons today, and I think in NA we should call them seagulls because they squawk more and shit more. But it keeps me going. It keeps me in touch with me, and it's getting me more and more in touch with me than I've ever been in my life. I am deeply grateful to be a member of NA. I'm particularly grateful to know that's where I belong. Thank you.
I'm Ann and I'm an addict. Hi. I'm glad that somebody explains what pride is, because in my program I have a real hard time with all those words. You know, like I just recently understood what faith was. You know, just before that I found out what hope was, and I got joy. And these are things that, you know, they talk about in the books and stuff, but I, as an addict, maybe some of you aren't the same way, but I never knew those things and I never felt those things. And then when I get these overwhelming feelings, I have to go to my sponsors and other people in the program and say, what is this? And I have to go back to my basic text, and for some unknown reason, I'll find myself reading a page I've never read before, and it'll describe that feeling that happened the night before. And I'll find out that I have gotten in me or acquired another spiritual principle, or an understanding of it, at least feeling for it. So I didn't know what you meant by pride, because I hadn't read that in the basic text yet, and nobody had told me what it meant out of it. I did it in my fourth step, and I couldn't remember what it meant, so it means respect, huh? Okay. Yeah, I respect the fellowship. See, I was sitting there, I couldn't understand how do you have pride in a fellowship, you know? You know, pride pride to me I always thought was like at work. You have pride in your work, which is something accomplished, a product, you know, a value. And I was trying to think of, well, what is accomplished, you know? And respect for Narcotics Anonymous as a fellowship, the members, we're all trying to do what they said couldn't be done. We're all trying to for me, it's to become closer to, it sounds real dorky, but sound closer to the spiritual growth that I wanted, the spirituality that I always wanted, that I always saw it in drugs and people and places and things, the God-centered life that I always wanted. And here we are, a bunch of junkies, a bunch of drug addicts, who are actually turning around our life and trying to find God, you know, and trying to live in a way that we can give God all over the place and get it and refill it over and over again. And I'm getting that now, and I know that it must be pride, if pride is respect, because lately I just feel like, how can I, when I respect something, I want to, like, give it tithings, you know, out of respect. Let me do this for you. Out of respect, out of gratitude, they say in the program. You know, out of respect, I do things for my mother. Out of respect, I do things for my roommates, you know, and out of respect, I do service for the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous, because I have to pay back this gift I got, which is pride in myself and spiritual principles and separation from my addiction and my self-centeredness, and back to being one again inside with the spiritual goals that I always wanted, and I never knew what they were. So I don't understand, you know, what we're supposed to say up here except for describe what pride in my fellowship means to us. And to me it means that what I've gotten in my life so far, in the few months I've been in the program, the gifts are so overwhelming that I hope to spend the rest of my life paying them back, no matter what happens, no matter if I never feel them again, because they're overwhelming and they're worth it. And I hope, and I didn't get them, I didn't start acquiring these feelings, fruits of the Spirit, miracles didn't start happening inside me for a while, you know. I had to become willing. I had to work through a whole lot of humanness and shit my first year, you know. It's like the first year's a gimme, right? And it was. And the second year I went through a whole lot of emotional and spiritual stuff, and it's overwhelmingly beautiful, and I hope that everybody can, I hope there's an ever-growing number that can stay around for that second year and start to get what I'm getting. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to close on, I think, an important note, which, you know, pray for the work and the history, because it's a tough piece of work. But I don't think a workshop on Pride in Our Fellowship would be complete without realizing that we did not snap fully made, out of a vacuum, that it took pain and suffering, it took trial and error, it took courage, it took a lot of failure, a tremendous amount of willingness to keep meetings going in very adverse situations. And yeah, it has come to light sort of why NA did not catch on and flourish in the early 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s. And through an unusual miracle of anonymity, a lot of our members did have to hide out as best they could, because the pressures against drug addiction mistakenly got laid on to our efforts for recovery and a new life, just through blind stupidity and ignorance. And we're, lucky to be living in a time where we can meet openly and begin to grow. And of course, the wholesale epidemic that begins when you leave the meeting room door has got a lot to do with that. People can't deny the disease anymore and sweep it under the carpet, and I suppose that happened for a long time. But in the 50s, it was at least one click down from being a communist to being an addict or anything like an addict, and that had to mess with us. And a lot of people died like this man, keeping the doors open to keep himself alive, died never knowing the dream was going to come true. Never seeing this testament to our love and respect and gratitude for those who've gone before. Thank you. Let's circle up and close with the Lord's Prayer. Thank you, everybody, for coming.